as Speed Weeks 98 continues to count down to Sunday.
This final Friday in Speed Weeks is affectionately known as D-Day -2. We are 2 days away from the $7 million 40th running of the Daytona 500 a day when one driver's Winston Cup dreams will become a reality. 56 came to try. 43 will start on Sunday. But today, it is time to wait. Today, it is time to worry. And today, it is time to watch as 42 guys go for the cash in a series called Dash.
This garage has been busier than the parking lot at the flower shop the morning before Valentine's Day. Guys in and out and in and out. We've seen Can-Am cars and Endurance Championship cars in here. The ARCA cars were here. They left last Sunday. Then more than 110 Busch Grand National cars and Goody's Dash Series cars moved in. The Busch guys are on center stage tomorrow. But today, it's the Goody Series and an 80-lap dash.
The NASCAR Goody's Dash Series can be as rough and tumble as any other division and can produce a victory as satisfying as any other. You don't think these cars are fast? Try running 170 in a compact. Since last Monday, Dash drivers have been hard at work, twisting and turning the wrenches, looking for the right combination. The lucky 42 have been chosen, and now their biggest race of the year is at hand as Mike Swain Jr. leads them to green at Daytona.
On Monday, Mike Swain Jr. made an Olympic-style save after his car launched into a frightening pirouette, then went skating down Daytona's desolate backstretch before sliding to a stop. On Tuesday, he recovered with a perfect 10, putting his Pennzoil Pontiac on the pole for this race. He's the 1997 Series champion and clearly the fastest car in the field. He's gonna be tough to catch. There are 41 guys hoping to do it.
How do you catch a fast car in Florida? Well, unless you've got bubble lights and a siren on your hood, you're going to need some help. And here's how you do it in the Goody's Dash Series. It takes 2 to tango, but 3 or more, and you've got what they call a draft. And a draft is critical, but you got to have friends in the draft. Or even better, how about relatives? How about father and son? Jake the son and Will Hopgood the father. They're going to team up together and try to run toward the front and chase that awfully quick pole sitter.
ESPN Speed World continues its coverage of Speed Weeks 98 from Daytona International Speedway. And today we focus on the NASCAR Goody's Dash Series. It's the Discount Auto Parts 200. It is another gorgeous day here in Daytona, and we're set for 80 laps of competition. It is a big day also for these Goody's Dash drivers, but quite frankly, Benny, they're not accustomed to racing like this.
Very inexperienced. You know, for the last 10 days, if you've watched our coverage from Daytona, you've seen the NASCAR Winston Cup and the Busch Series, and you've seen these guys drafting side by side, nose to tail. It looks easy. But Kyle Petty, today we're liable to see anything.
Well, it looks easy in the Winston Cup and the Busch Series because a lot of those guys are graduates from this Busch or from the Dash Series. They learned it here. You look at the Michael Waltrips, the late Davey Allison, the Hut Strickland. They started here. Lyndon Amick in the Busch Series. They started here. But today, they're going to learn a lot today. So many different speeds. You're going to learn which line to choose, which line not to choose, how to suck up, how to get out of the way. There's so much learning that's going to go on here today that's going to help them get to the Winston Cup experience.
The engines have been fired, and in just a few moments, the cars will begin to roll out. Stay with us for live racing from Daytona. The Discount Auto Parts 200 is ready to roll. ESPN Speed World coverage of this Goody's Dash race from Daytona International Speedway is being brought to you by the more than 1,750 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. And by Daytona USA, the ultimate motorsports attraction. Cars are on the backstretch on the first of 2 warm-up laps before we get the green flag and begin racing. Big field here, 42 drivers set to go. Let's look at the lineup. Mike Swaim has put his car on the pole at 162.905. Good news and bad news for David Hutto. He was the second fastest qualifier. He missed the drivers' meeting this morning, and he has to drop back to the end of the field. There he is on the top of the racetrack, dropping all the way back from the front row to the back row. In row number 2, we have Derry Kelly and Christian Elder, who led the testing down here during January. The third row includes the veteran Jake Hopgood and Scott Weaver. Back in row number 4, Donnie Neuenberger, because of his performance on ESPN both in front of the camera and off camera, has full-time sponsorship from Copab Steel Corporation. Back in row number 5, we have Darryl Murray and George Crenshaw. As you look at the rest of the starting lineup, I think the thing we have to talk about, guys, is the fact that this is definitely a drafting race here today.
It's definitely a drafting race. And the 28 car, the pole sitter, Mike Swaim Jr., so far has been the class of the field. And if these guys, they really need to hook up together. 3 or 4 of them need to work together to stay up with the 28 car.
It is going to take a couple of cars. As you go back through the field, he is a class of the field by a mile an hour or more. But you can be as much as 5 or 6 miles an hour off the pace and still have a drafting partner and suck back up to him. So I don't really see him breaking away that much unless he and Hutto get hooked up. Now you got 2 cars close to the same speed. They could check out on everybody. But the other crowd, definitely drafting and staying in line is going to be important for everybody.
We see Pat Patterson, the TV announcer, in the race. B.J. Mackey back in the 71 car.
And the veteran Mickey York way back in the 18th row. Donnie Apple's going to carry one of our onboard cameras here that we'll show you in just a few moments. There's Ernie Yarborough, who is the nephew of Cale. And in the back row is also a veteran of this competition, Gary Moore. Dr. Punch.
One of the rules in the Goodies Dash Series to limit expenses is that there are no tire changes allowed during an event. And they waived that rule this morning during the drivers' meeting. However, most of the teams weren't prepared to change tires. In fact, here in the Will Hopgood pit, there are only 4 tires, and these are only in case of a flat. They said most teams don't have tires, and most teams don't plan to change even if they had them. They do 2 gas and goes, and that's all. Let's go to Bill Weber.
And Ronald Fox, you have a 6-cylinder engine. There are 4-cylinder engines in this race. Can they draft together?
Yeah, they can draft real well. We did yesterday, and they done real well.
Now, your driver told me maybe yesterday he felt he was a little bit down on power. Was that just the driver talking, or was that really the case?
Well, we found out yesterday and day before yesterday we could run 3 laps. It run real strong. And the longer we run, it built up heat under the hood, and it was slowing down. And we tried to get some more air to go under there, and NASCAR won't let us do it. So I don't know what it'll do now.
Will he need to stay in front then to get more air?
Yeah, he's got to stay in front definitely.
All right, we'll be watching. Best of luck.
There are 7 6-cylinder cars in the race. The rest are 4s. And our onboard cameras, as I said, Donnie Apple carries one starting way back in the back of the field.
And this is Chris Hall. He's carrying a Respironics onboard camera. He starts back in 20th spot.
And then up at the front of the field in row number 2 is Christian Elder. Actually, Christian now moves up to the outside pole because, as we said, David Hutto had to go to the back because he missed the drivers' meeting. Here's the field. The pace car makes the hard left turn off the racetrack onto pit road. 80 laps of racing set to go here on a Friday morning from Daytona International Speedway.
And look at Hutto go.
Way up on the high side of the track, brushes the wall.
He's trying to get to the front, trying to get back where he qualified on the outside pole. Missed the driver's meeting, had to start at the very rear. And already we've got a 3-car breakaway.
The 77 of Brian Gandy is going to get a black flag for jumping the start. Here's 3 abreast down the backstretch as they head for the corner. The number 5 car is Ricky Bryant.
That's Brian Sockwell, the 54 on the outside, our winner here last year. And Kyle, these guys need to get in line and draft.
Yeah, it's incredible how much ground they've lost on the first lap. They're running, the first guys are running single file, the next are 2 wide, and the group behind them are 3 wide, and they're just dropping steadily.
Oh, there's a car off the pace right in the middle, and there is the spin.
2 spins, 2 cars sliding down through corner number 4. The red car up by the wall is the 81 of Greg Dodgens. And I believe Roger Nance Jr. was the other car involved, number 92. Yes, the driver from North Wilkesboro.
And it looks like Jake Hobgood was the car that was off the pace. Jake Hobgood started up front. We see the damage on the 81 car where he backed in the inside wall coming off turn 4.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Well, Jake Hopgood started the race and apparently called coming out of turn 2, said, I have a flat tire. I have a tire going down a flat tire. They were trying to get him on pit road. These guys aren't accustomed to changing tires. One guy has an air wrench, but no one has turned the bottle on. He can't get any air pressure to the bottle to be able to get his wrench to work. They are trying to shuffle around, and now they're going to try to get Jake in and possibly get a tire changed and get some work done. Remember, these guys ordinarily don't change tires, and as I told you, these tires were only here in case of a flat.
Jerry,
they'll need one.
He's got more problems than that. What's the deal here?
The right front tire is flat, and it's gone completely flat. It's almost torn the fender off, and now it is so flat that the car is bottomed on the racetrack and will not roll.
Yeah, as you saw right there, as he got to the first corner down there, the tire had come apart and beat the right front fender off of it. He wasn't involved in the accident, it didn't seem to be. Just a tire coming apart beat the right front fender off it. When he got to the first corner, it never turned. He went straight up the bank.
Watch the onboard camera. There we see Jake Hopgood right in the middle, and the tire is coming apart as Chris Hall goes by, and that's the car that I saw that was very, very slow. Now he's trying to slow to get to the pits, and there were so many cars there. He started so far up that he can't get to the inside.
Yeah, it's like being in the fast lane trying to get off an exit on the interstate. You can't get there from where you're at. These guys do a tremendous job of avoiding him right here.
Yes,
because he was a setting duck right there. Then he goes back onto the racetrack because he's concerned that people are going to run into him and from behind again.
That's where he really, if he really made a mistake there. If he could have just turned left, he'd have been on pit road. And watch this. There's Dodgens going right, spinning and backing in the fence.
And then Nance also loses control. But you're right, Kyle, that is a lot, isn't nearly as bad as it could have been because there was a whole bunch of cars bearing down. Jerry?
I'm with Dub Roundtree, the crew chief for Jake Hopwood. And Dub, tell us what happened.
He said going down into 3, he ran over something and cut the right front tire. Then we drug the oil pan off. Don't have any oil pressure right now. We'll just tow it in and see what we got.
All right, Dub Roundtree headed back a long faces. It's been a long week for these guys. This is their one day in the sun, and it's already getting cloudy over the winds team.
As it is for many drivers in this race here at Daytona. Well, there is Hopgood's car. It's up in turn number 1 on the banking. So we have a caution out right now because of an accident on the very first lap. Jake Hopgood is out of his car. He's okay. The car came to a rest down on the banking in turn 1, but has gone down into the infield, so they're picking it up. Here's a sequence now of what happened from some onboard cameras.
This is Chris Hall we're riding with, Kyle.
And you see the tire as the chunks came up out of it. This is coming out of, and I'll go around this racetrack 100 times and I don't know where we're at.
This is turn 2.
Okay, there we go. See? There you have it. I know exactly where we're at on the racetrack at all times. Remember that.
There's Darmer. We've backed this tape a long way up.
Yeah, a long way up. This is going down the backstretch. He's already had a problem at this point in time, though. His tire's already gone down.
And here he is coming off turn 4. And look, I mean, how in the world are these cars going to dodge him? Look at this.
He's got to be running 20 or 30 miles an hour slower at this point, and these guys are doing a tremendous job of staying out of the way. He didn't know that pit road was clear. He should have gone on down pit road, could have gone on pit road. But in his mind, he did the right thing. He didn't know whether cars were coming that way and he was going to cause more accidents. He straightened up, stayed on the racetrack. Jake did a great job right there, no matter to only have a couple of cars in it.
And when he got down into turn number 1, we see there how the tire has come apart and torn off the fender. But now watch what happens. And
Yeah, the tire's basically apart right now, and it's pretty much beat the right front fender. But here the car just instantly goes up the bank, and if you see the right front wheel is cut all the way to the outside, it's already opened up, and it's almost like that the rubber and beating it out has just absolutely knocked the steering off the right front, because from another angle when the car was sitting there, the left front was turned the same way.
And there we see him coming off turn 4. This is the start of the tire coming apart, and is real slow as Chris Hall goes by. And man, that was a very, very scary moment.
So the caution remains out here at the Discount Auto Parts 200 for the Goody's Dash Series. We'll be back in just a moment. Back at the Daytona International Speedway for the Goody's Dash Series event. And right now we've completed 4 laps and still under caution. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, first victim today, Jake Hobgood. Jake, we heard you ran over something. Any idea what you may have hit on the racetrack?
No, Jerry, we didn't see nothing. We was just following the car in front of us trying to get singled out. And apparently we hit something, cut the right front tire down. And these cars are so low to the ground when that happens, it busts the bottom of the oil pan, so made a long day short.
All right, tough break, Jake. Let's get back and take a look at the car. Hopefully get back out if you can and get some points.
I didn't hear you, Jerry, but yeah, we're going to try and fix the car, get out and make a few laps. We're in this year for the championship, and hopefully we'll give wins a good year after all.
All right, Jake Hobgood heads to the garage. Jerry, meanwhile, his dad, Will Hobgood, is still in the hunt.
Junior Miller is being black flagged for jumping the start. The 90 car, driven by Bobby Dayton, was black flagged for 2 fast down pit road. Meanwhile, David Hutto is up to 24th position. He's gained 18 since the beginning of the race.
But meanwhile, the first 2 cars, the pole sitter Mike Swaim Jr. in the 28, the Pennzoil car, and Derek Kelly 06 have already pulled up to about a second advantage over the 3rd place car. Oh, look at him. 3 abreast. And Mickey York slow on the inside. Too bad.
Man, look at David Hutto cut through the field.
The inside lane open.
There we see Brian Sockwell in 54. Uh-oh, the lead is gone.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, Kelly is back to 3rd, 4th, 5th as Christian Elder pulls in behind Mike Swaim Jr.
That's a perfect example of the draft. When they came by here before, the second pack was a second behind, and just in half the racetrack they caught up to the lead pack.
On board with Christian Elder, chasing Mike Swaim Jr., whose father was a 4-time champion of this series.
And look at the hood. Look at the wind pressure, even at 160 miles per hour, pushing that hood down on the left side.
He moves right up on the rear bumper. That's the draft, just sucking him up in there just a little bit at a time.
Last time, the average speed for the 21 car that you're riding with, Christian Elder, 163.6 miles per hour.
But Brian Sockwell right behind him at a little bit faster speed. Here they are, Swaim, Elder, and Sockwell down the backstretch as Swaim tries to break that draft.
As we watch this, Donnie Neurenberger pulls this car on pit road in the Kofat steel car you were talking about earlier.
And David Hutto is up to 19th position. And he passes 2 more cars and is up to 17th. Now those 3 cars have broken away a little bit. That's Derek Kelly running in 4th spot, but he's got a few car lengths between himself and 3rd place. We understand that Neuenberger's problem was a tire. That has been changed. He's back on the racetrack.
We see Scott Weaver in the 2 car on the inside. Chris Hall.
Outside, 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 still outside. Still outside.
Danny Baglin,
outside.
10 car goes by.
Outside.
As the spotter keeps telling him, he said, I think he said, Chris, there's a line of them going by on the outside.
Sometimes that's the easiest thing to say, but man, you love to hear it when they're saying something to you.
Well, Hall, oh, we have a spin, and upside down. That's Hobgood.
That's Jake Hobgood. I mean, Will Hobgood in 65.
And the other car is 48, I believe. A.J. Frank, yes. So 2 cars upside down. One of them is still upside down. And a third car has spun and hit the wall. There is Hobgood, whose son had a problem early in the race, and now Will has one.
We see Will moving around in the car. That's good news.
And we see some good movement from inside Frank's car, too.
Now, he can hurt himself by releasing the seatbelts, can he, Kyle?
Release some seatbelts, he's going to land right on his head. You hear every driver that's ever been on his roof talk about that.
A scary crash on the 9th lap has again brought out the caution flag. The rescue workers are right there to attend to Frank.
You know, I don't know how do you get out of a car that's on its roof?
I don't know. Thank goodness my prayers have always been answered. I've never been on my roof like that, so not ended up there anyhow. I've always ended up back on the four wheels.
Kyle, let's see if we can see what happens in this deal. We see Jake Hobgood, Will Hobgood, I'm sorry, put Will Hobgood in the outside. Oh, and 48 gets a bump from the Robert Huffman car. He spins, and now Jake Hobgood gets bumped by Scott Weaver, and both those cars just get, the air just simply flips the cars over.
Just picks them up as soon as they turn. Nothing had a chance to happen. As soon as the car got sideways, it was up in the air already.
And there's another car spinning and coming in contact with the wall, a yellow car. I don't know who that is, but A.J. Frank and Hobgood both overturned. Here's an onboard camera from Chris Hall.
Let's see what Chris Hall was able to see as he comes off turn 4. It's not pretty, I guarantee you.
And he made the right move down to the inside. And boy,
great
Hobgood,
camera.
Yeah, Hobgood got way up in the air.
Oh, that was a great camera shot.
There we see A.J. Frank. Where are you?
He says he's fine.
Oh, good. I believe I saw Jake Hobgood being led away from his car a few moments ago. Wow.
Glad to see both drivers appear to be okay. Both, of course, will have to go to the infield care center for a checkover. And this type of thing happens so quickly. Once again, we ride with Chris Hall, real time.
Good. Keep it straight. Keep it straight. Good job. Great job. Good skate. Go on through. On through. Good job.
And in this case, there is no speed limit on pit road.
There is Frank overturning. And Hobgood there in the background. And his car gets way up in the air as he turns over on his wheels again. Bill Weber is with A.J.'s dad.
Well, Peter, Frank, your son has talked to you. He's out of the car. He's okay. Did he say what happened?
Well, I think somebody got in the back of him, Bill, and just turned him over, I believe, on the back straightaway.
What did he say to you?
He said, "I'm upside down." And that says it all, really. He qualified 15th, was up to top 10, and was looking real good. We're kind of disappointed, of course, but we'll be back.
That's frightening for a driver. How about for a father?
We've been in it 30 years. The car's good. He's good. I lost that fear a long time ago.
And you're a family doctor, so you'll be able to check him out, huh?
Yes, sir.
All right. Well, best of luck to you next time out.
Thank you, Bill. Thanks for being here.
That's Dr. Peter Frank, A.J. Frank's dad and his doctor.
A.J. has been competing since he was 6 years of age, so indeed his dad is accustomed to whatever might occur. He's driven motorcycles and go-karts and sports cars and late models, even some USAC Formula Russell Championship events. He's okay, it appears. We'll be back in just a moment. ESPN Speed World today at Daytona for the Discount Auto Parts 200 for the Goody's Dash Series. Budweiser, the official beer of NASCAR and NASCAR's 50th anniversary celebration, proud to provide these spectacular shots from Bud 1, the Bud 1 airship, sailing high above the Speedway. Jerry Punch is with A.J. Frank.
And A.J. coming out of the Monaco Care Center. First of all, A.J., you're okay?
Yes, sir, I'm fine. Car just rolled over on its roof, and I went for a little ride, and luckily nobody hit me after I was upside down, but we're okay. I wish the car was okay. It's the only race I was going to attend this year, and I really wanted to come out with a good finish. We had a good qualifying effort. And my family, my dad, everybody's putting a lot into this deal, and it's just a shame it had to end so early. We were running really good. Coming off turn 4, I think Huffman just got a little too close to me, gave me a little tap, and around I went.
All right, AJ, glad you're okay. We'll let you go back and talk to your dad and the rest of the family. Maybe next year, huh?
Yeah, next year we'll be back. Maybe even to Charlotte.
All right, let's get over here and talk to Will Hobgood a little bit. And Will, a wild ride, a veteran of many years. I don't think I've ever seen you on your roof before.
Not down here, you know. I've been on my roof before, but not at Daytona. I think the 48 car got loose up there in the front, and Robert smacked the wall, and I was trying to sneak my way through there, and I got hit from behind. That turned me around, and the car got airborne.
You're okay, though?
Yeah, I'm fine. A little sore, but I'll be all right.
Tough day for the Hobgood family.
Yeah, we didn't do such a good for the Wins Oil Company, but, you know, we'll get them next time.
All right, that's Will Hobgood able to walk away. His son, Jake, made it a lap before he cut a tire and had to call it a day, and both of them are out here, and we are just getting started. Let's update some other stories with Bill Weber.
Well, first of all, Jerry, on the 26 of Jimmy Gross, he has some substantial damage to the nose of his car. In fact, the team tried to send him back out, and NASCAR said no. They really cannot get the hood pins back in, so they tried all kinds of tape and pins to keep that hood down, but they're not so sure that he won't be back here briefly. NASCAR talking it over with the crew. In fact, the pit board is out for him now. As far as Robert Huffman in the 37 car, he's got right side damage. He got 2 right side tires, and he has returned to the track.
Robert Huffman brushed the wall pretty doggone severe in that escapade a moment ago. That's the 37 car, the White House apple juice car. So I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't have some damage to that automobile. And that might be him on the bottom of the racetrack right now.
Robert Huffman, by the way, entered the pit area too soon, so he's been penalized by NASCAR as the field comes down for a restart. Well, enough of this wrecking. Let's see some good action, huh? Green flag is out, and we go back to racing on lap number 13. On 14, I should say.
And that was Jimmy Gross who was coming down pit road, not Robert Huffman.
Gross was the yellow car that hit the wall, also in that 3-car incident. And now Swain himself gets a big jump and separates himself by quite a bit over second place in a car going slowly up against the wall. There's Ned Combs in number 9 and Donnie Neuenberger in 14, and Neuenberger is a lap down.
Neuenberger had to make a pit stop on the green flag, and ever see Ricky Bryan in 5-car, and Doc Brewer in 44 getting hooked up, trying to go to the front. George Crenshaw in 07 comes flying into it.
Oh, 3 wide here. Neuenberger in the middle. That's Danny Bagwell up on top, and the 07 is George Crenshaw.
Didn't take those guys long to run Mike Swain down, did it? And a battle for the lead. Christian Elder. The guys are hooking up. That's Ryan Sockwell in 54. They're trying to go by Derek Kelly. And for the first time today, Mike Swain Jr. will lose the lead. Darrell Murray in 52. He wants to make it 3 abreast.
Elder takes over the lead.
Look how the wind moves these cars around. Even when they get side by side, the draft is affecting them from front to rear, but from side to side, they really bounce around a lot. Mike Swain's car is pretty strong to be able to maintain on the outside 2 wide. And not have the inside line just check out a little bit.
And now Darrell Murray says, wait a minute. There's almost some contact.
There is contact there. Sockwell and Swain bump as they come down through the tri-oval.
Meanwhile, while Christian Elner is taking the lead, look at the cars that have joined the group. We got 10 cars.
I think 8 or 9.
A bunch.
And among them is David Hutto, who has come from the last row up tier to battle with the leaders. Now on the outside, Swain and Murray team up.
I think That's David Hutto to the right. Just went out of picture, went out of frame.
It's Ned Combs. 06 is Kelly.
I guess that's Hutto right at the very right of your screen behind Ned Combs.
Cars stopped down there on the apron of the racetrack in turn 4.
Caution flag is out.
It's the 96 car of Mark Ellington from Oxford, North Carolina. So our third caution flag waves on the 16th lap.
Just when it was getting exciting.
Yep.
Yeah. This should not be a long caution flag because he does not have to be hooked to a wrecker. You see the wrecker just pulls up and shoves him back to the pits.
He tried to get down. He was the car that didn't really take off on the last restart, and he tried to get down and get to the inside coming out of turn 2. And there's an exit ramp over there almost where you can get off the racetrack, but he was caught on the outside and couldn't get back across the racetrack.
There's your field summary showing you where the top 15 are running, and the numbers in parentheses indicate starting position. And although it says Hutto there too, he really started from 42nd position. Here's 16 through 30.
Ernie Yarbrough started back in 40th. He's up to 20th. B.J. Mackey started 33rd. He's up to 17th. Robert Luckadoo only gained 4 spots.
And now the remainder of the field. You can see a couple of cars are already out of the race and 3 cars not on the lead lap. Back with more from Daytona in a moment. Welcome back to ESPN Speed World coverage of Daytona Speed Weeks 98, part of the 50th anniversary celebration of NASCAR. In conjunction with that, tonight at 7:30 Eastern Time, the final installment of the series called The 50. Tonight's program entitled Inherit the Win. And these 5 shows have just been absolutely excellent in documenting the history of NASCAR. Don't miss tonight's final installment at 7:30 Eastern Time here on ESPN.
Kyle Petty, you inherited the win, didn't you? From your grandfather and your father?
I guess so. Yeah, pretty much so. Now I'm trying to pass it on to another one, Adam. He's trying to get up and get running, so it's pretty cool to be in this situation.
We are a half a lap from going back to green. Right along with Christian Elder, who's in 2nd position behind Mike Swain Jr.
Pace car, the lights are off, so when we come down the start-finish line, the green flag will be waved, and you'll see the biggest mess you've ever seen in your life when they go down in turn 1.
Great clips for hair. Is that?
You need to see them, Kyle.
I don't think they would be a good sponsor for me. Do you?
Nah. No, not for you. How long has it been? Years, isn't it?
Since '91, since I broke my leg.
Wow.
So,
All right, let's watch the pace car up ahead now as it will make a hard left and will be underway once again. Green's going to come out on lap number 19, so we're almost a 4th of the way through this race and have seen very little racing because of the cautions that have interrupted the flow here. But now we're back to competition.
Clear.
Brian Sockwell, the black car in 3rd spot. Derek Kelly, the yellow car behind him.
Murray is the one who lost out on that restart. He lost at least 1 position.
And Brian Sockwell trying to go by.
We enter the hot zone. Our Tabasco telemetry showing us the RPM and the speed.
Still there.
Sockwell must have somebody behind him pushing him. Yes, he does. Daryl Murray. Oh, boy, they're dancing. Whoa.
2 by 2 down through the trioval. Sockwell moves to 2nd. That's Daryl Murray now on the inside of Christian Elder.
And see, this is a good example. As soon as Sockwell jumps by, he jumps up in the outside lane to help the outside. Now, that guy's pushed him by. Why didn't he stay down and try to help the guy behind him sometimes? But that's the way, you know, you try to do what's best for you a lot of times.
Look at the difference in the speed this lap compared to last lap.
Carlo, still there.
That is Daryl Murray in the 52 car, and he's got a push from behind. I think that's Hutto. That's behind the 52 car, trying his best to push him by.
And they remain 2 by 2, and now Sockwell moves up to the outside to try to get into drafting line that might carry him by Mike Swain. Wow, good stuff.
They're going to go 3 now.
Elder thought better of it.
Carlo, stay with the 54.
And from the back end of this pack, Chris Hall's onboard camera.
Outside.
Doc Brewer there in 44.
You're clear.
Chris Hall has a good run.
Outside. Still outside.
Let's check the speed on Chris Hall's cars. We enter the Tabasco hot zone, 158.
Still outside.
Oh, we squeezed off the gasoline.
You can hear these guys kind of checking up a little bit, kind of checking up every now and then, just waiting to see what's going on in front of them.
And meanwhile, Mike Swain goes back to about 4th spot. The line is on the inside. 3 cars abide. Back to Chris Hall. That's Charles Powell III in the 72 car.
This is the first time we've seen more than one car pass Mike Swain Jr.
He goes back to 5th spot. Danny Bagwell trying to get by Ned Combs. That's Bagwell in 10. Ned Combs in 9. Ricky Bryan in the 5 car. We'll go back to the Respironics car. Kyle, you have trouble sleeping? Those people can help you.
Not watching this race, you don't have any trouble sleeping during this race. This is exciting stuff.
Let's give a call to Danny Bagwell in the 10 car. He started 25th and is up to 6th. Make that 7th.
Is David Hutto in 2nd spot? It's what our pylon is saying. The 16 car of Hutto has worked his way to 2nd place.
How about that? Excellent run for David Hutto in the first 22 laps. He has moved from the 42nd starting position to runner-up.
And there we see him in 2nd spot.
Elder and Sockwell trail him. Bill Weber has more on the great run from Hutto.
And this is exactly what they were hoping for. I talked to David on the grid before the race. He said he just spaced the drivers' meeting. He just flat out missed it. It was nobody's fault but his own. He said, I'm going to the back. I got nowhere to go but forward. And his crew said, you'll be able to watch that car come to the front. Right now, 2nd place in this race after dropping to the rear of the field before the green came out.
Boy. Look at this. On lap 5, he was 24th. 4 laps later, he had gained 11 positions. On up through the 21st lap, he is runner-up. There's David Hutto. Daryl Murray trying to break that draft down the backstretch.
Christian Elder back in 4th spot. We're riding along with him now. As he looks forward, behind him is Mike Swain Jr. in 5th spot. Take a look at the field summary. In parentheses on the right, look where some of these drivers started and where they're currently running.
Powell up from 30th position to 9th. But right now it's a 5-car breakaway, led by Daryl Murray, who won Rookie of the Year honors in this series in 1995. Then a long way back to 4 more cars that are in a line, and we have a car smoking in the 3rd group.
It's a blown engine and
Brian Gandy.
Too bad. He burned a piston. Don't you think, Kyle?
Yeah, smoking like that. More than likely, these cars get in a draft, they get to running, they lean themselves out a little bit, they get a little richer sometimes. Obviously, this one's leaned it out and burned a piston smoking like that. He's not come out of gas, though, has he?
And no caution yet. Back to the front 5. Murray leads them off of 4 onto the tri-oval.
Well, Kyle, you're right. These cars really dance around.
Hutto is second. Then Sockwell, then Elder, and then Mike Swain. That's the top 5 as 25 of the 80 laps have been completed in the Discount Auto Parts 200. Back at Daytona, still 5 cars up here in the draft, and we have a car into the wall here on the tri-oval. I believe it's Luckadoo, is it not?
Looks like Robert Luckadoo. Meanwhile, Rusty Wise has spun down through the grass at the start-finish line, and he's still spinning. He finally comes to a stop.
Headed in the wrong direction, however. And the other car is 15, Robert Luckadoo. And quite a bit of damage.
Robert Luckadoo is the county commissioner from Rutherford County, North Carolina. And look, tell you what, here the pace car has not picked these cars up, so they can't. The pit road is not open.
You pack it full of gas, Troy. So you got to be full of gas.
The next time by, these cars will pit. And Kyle, we've listened to the radio during commercial breaks, and Mike Swain Jr. is complaining about his car getting slower as it gets hotter. What's up with that?
Yeah, he's not complaining about the car overheating per se, as far as the water or the oil temperature. Just as the motor compartment itself, as the underhood temperature gets hotter and hotter and hotter, the 6-cylinder is slowing down. You got to remember, he's got a 6-cylinder. 6-cylinder obviously is a bigger engine by comparison to a 4-cylinder. It's taking up a lot more room up under the hood. The Busch cars had trouble when they run 6-cylinders with being real hot on the inside and stuff. What that does, the fuel coming through the firewall, the fuel's hotter going into the motor, everything becomes hotter. It just bogs the motor down, basically. These motors like cool air to run. That's why he's so fast when he's by himself, running up front or by himself in qualifying, because everything's cool.
This caution is a real break for him, because he had indicated he wanted to stop in a couple of more laps anyway, and now he's going to get 2 under caution.
Meanwhile,
It was colder than that when he was out front, though, wasn't it? Yeah, see, you can't let the draft fool you.
Safety crew arrives at the car of Robert Luckadoo. His car is near the entrance to pit road against the outside wall. Looks like he hit pretty hard, because there is extensive damage on the left side of that car. You see where he slid along the wall for quite a ways there on the black marks on the wall.
There he comes out of the car.
All right.
Good.
Whenever there's damage on that side of the car, the driver's side, you always have a bit of a lump in your stomach until you see the driver emerging.
Look at the line. All these cars are coming in the pits. Doctor, everyone coming to you.
Benny, 55 miles an hour behind the Pontiac safety car. The first among the leaders, the pit will be up toward turn 4. Christian Elder coming in. They have hired a Busch Grand National Series gas man, Don Ball, from the Mike Dillon team. Remember, there are no tire changes. They will just put 1 can of fuel in. These cars have 8-gallon fuel cells, so 1 can, which holds 11 gallons, will be more than enough. As Christian Elder gets his service, he is away. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
Well, David Hutto is here, fuel only. He's boxed in by Daryl Murray in front of him and by Brian Sockwell behind him. Sockwell's going to be the first one away. Hutto has his fuel very slow to get restarted, and he'll follow out the 52 down pit road.
Look at the cars coming out of the pits.
And look, Mike Swain Jr. just now getting started.
And we have a car, so we have 3 cars that have collided down on pit road. Weaver is one of them.
The Amick car was sitting in the pits. The 2 car was leaving as the white car came in, and they just hung right there, man.
That white car is Keith Wilson. Amick, Wilson, and Weaver were the ones that collided on pit road. Here's why we're under caution.
Right in the middle of the screen, the blue and green car, right in the middle, we see the engine start going as he comes off the corner. He saves it, and finally he can't do anything about it, and boom. And I tell you what, David Amick was just barely able to get by before Luckadoo comes up into the outside retaining wall.
Yeah, David did a great job right there.
Luckadoo got out of the car under his own power, so he is not injured. And the other car involved was that of
Rusty
Wise, the 49, but he just simply spun, didn't hit anything, and got the car going in the right direction and continued. We'll be right back. Daytona International Speedway, as we are 30 laps into the 80-lap Discount Auto Parts 200 from Daytona International Speedway. And we'll show you a field summary here. Christian Elder shown as the leader of the race right now. This after some pit stops that kind of jumbled the field. David Hutto in car number 16 that's currently in 5th position was the leader before the pit stops. Now here's 16 through 30. Ernie Yarborough up in 17th. George Crenshaw 21st. Donnie Neuenberger is a lap down in 30th position, so 29 cars are on the lead lap. And here's the remainder of the field. We understand that the Christian Elder was too fast down pit road.
Several cars too fast down pit road to the end of the longest line. The 9 car, Ned Combs, 07, Kelly, 99 Moore, 69 Miller, 42, 21, 24. All these cars too fast exiting will have to go to the end of the longest line. Any experience on the pit road speed, Kyle?
Impatience, not inexperience. I think that they saw this as an opportunity to break out of that pack or get to the front of the pack they wanted to be in. And you fudge a little bit, and they were really on top of it today.
Jerry Punch.
Mickey York has been on and off pit road a couple of times. The 2-time most popular drivers had a problem. In these 4-cylinder cars, there's so much vibration, and it actually vibrates the plug wires out of the distributor. They had tie wrapped them in, but this one escaped the tie wrap, vibrated out, and that's why he was on 3 cylinders instead of 4 trying to race. We go back to 3.
Last year's winner, Brian Sockwell, leads him to the green. Murray, then Hutto, and Huffman, your top 4 as they head for turn 1 and a resumption of a race on the 32nd lap.
And there's a car blowing about 15th to 20th back in line. It might be David. No, it's not David Amick. It's Scott Weaver in the 2 car. And he's got some damage. He's knocked the fender back in on the tire.
Remember, he was one of the 3 cars involved in that little incident down on pit road.
And there's Mike Swain back in about 10th spot. Danny Bagwell, B.J. Mackey in 71 has worked his way up.
Derek Kelly in the 06. So it's going to be fun watching those guys who were penalized for the pit speed violation to come up through the field now.
And I speculated that Robert Huffman probably had some pretty serious damage after he smacked the wall off turn 4. That's him, the yellow car, in 3rd place right now.
B.J. Mackey started in 30th position, and he's up to 5th, battling there with the top dogs.
Mackey loses a spot as Derek Kelly goes by in 06. That's Mike Swain Jr. behind as Danny Bagwell, the 10 car on the inside.
More from Bill Weber.
Well, he came in, took fuel only, and they did make a chassis adjustment, took a little bit of wedge out, and that car continues to run hot. And what they wanted to do, Benny, they wanted to funnel some air to the breathers like they do in the truck series to try and keep those cool. Originally, I guess NASCAR said they would let them try it, and then there was some discussion and they changed their minds. But that would help cool it down a little bit, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would. In the truck series, they run 9-to-1 engine, and the underhood temperature is very, very hot. Exactly like Kyle Petty was talking about as Chris Hall got very close. NASCAR allowed the truck series to run hoses from the grill up to the air cleaner for that cold air that he wants so bad. Now let's see what Chris Hall is doing as we go in the Tabasco hot zone.
Still inside.
165, 67 miles per hour.
Still inside.
Ricky Bryant comes up, gives Chris Hall
Clear,
a push.
clear. All clear.
And Bagwell
To meet the train. All
falls
clear.
up there behind the 5 car of Bryant. Christian Elder is moving up through traffic. He's up to 13th after being one of those that was assessed the penalty for speeding on pit road.
Inside. Inside.
Chris Hall getting a battle for the 9th spot between Ricky Bryant and himself.
And this is something these guys should learn. They got lined up. They run through one corner lined up, and then they pull out on each other again.
Yeah.
If they would stay in line, they have the potential to run down the pack. And this is like we talked before the race started. This is where the experience of drafting comes in. Once they get patient and get used to it, they'll realize they're losing ground running, racing with each other, basically.
And the spotter trying to tell him desperately to get in line, get in line.
Hang on to him, Chris. Clear all behind you. Stay with them.
Meanwhile, here's that second pack of cars as they battle for 5 cars here, battling for position.
This is 3rd through whatever, about 8th.
Yeah, 3rd through 7th. That's Mike Swaim Jr. and that's Doc Brewer hanging on. I got to give him a call. He started 18th and he's up to 7th or 8th. Mike Swaim Jr. and Doc Brewer, they can't live but about 2.5, 3 miles from each other. So they're good High Point boys.
Fastest lap that time was run by David Hutto at 163.6. Just a little bit faster than the leader. And the 45 car, John Redmond, was 3rd quick that lap. Jerry Punch once again.
Well, Scott Weaver is leaving the pits. He came in because of a tire rub in the right front from that contact on pit road. And likewise, David Amick just came back down pit road. He had a flat left front tire because of that sheet metal contact in the pits. They're now trying to pull some of that sheet metal away, but he's obviously lost some valuable time, at least 1 lap and maybe more here on pit road.
Here comes this group down through the tri-oval. That's Kelly that stuck his nose into 3rd position, then Swaim, then Huffman, and Sockwell and Brewer. And again, there are the leaders right there running 1, 2, and then this group 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Now, if these 5 cars would get in line, they probably could run the leaders down. But the last time by, the leaders 163 miles per hour. This group, the fastest car, 161 miles per hour. But now they are in line.
I know earlier in the race he couldn't even hang on to it. We just pulled off and left it.
Meanwhile, B.J. Mackey's in the pits. Hood going up on his car.
After moving up into top 10, BJ is on pit road.
Has been completed with Daryl Murray leading the event.
37 laps completed. We're nearing the halfway mark. Now let's check on this group of cars. That's Christian Elder leading that group.
Someone is getting black flagged in that group. I guess it's the car low on the inside.
Elder back in 11th position, about a little over 6 seconds behind the leader, and he's trying to encourage a line to draft back up to that group of cars that are 2nd through 7th, 3rd through 7th. 37 laps completed. Back with more after this. Welcome back to the Discount Auto Parts 200. Goody's Dash Series race from the high banks of Daytona. Here is 2nd through whatever. That's Mike Swaim on the left of your screen as he tries to catch up to the leader of the race, Daryl Murray. The big news in the last few laps is David Hutto.
There we see David Hutto in the pits with a blown engine. Bill Weber.
Yeah, stealing my glory, Benny. That's exactly what they think it is. They told David to keep your eye on the gauges, but if it's smoking when you get back around to the front stretch, bring it down pit road. So now he has shut it off, the crew looking underneath it. Actually, it continues to idle at a very, very slow pace. So it's been a tough day for David Hutto. Missed the driver's meeting, had to go to the back of the field, carved his way to the front. And now it looks like his day is done. The crew looking underneath the hood, shaking their head. And Hutto sits on pit road. Window net about to come down. David Hutto's day is over.
40 down, 40 to go in the Discount Auto Parts 200. Jerry Punch is with Robert Luckadoo.
Well, County Commissioner Robert Luckadoo, you had a wild ride and some wall contact. Robert, what happened?
It was a raw wide. I just came off a turn 4 down there and either cut down a left rear tire or maybe a wheel bearing. I'm not sure, but the car just flew sideways, and when it did, I was pretty much just along for the ride.
All right, but he is A-OK in the 54 car now, showing some smoke. Last year's winner in this race, apparently he may have an engine problem as well.
Indeed, Sockwell down to the apron of the racetrack, and just in the last 3-4 laps, we've seen 2 cars experience problems.
Looks like they're burning pistons, Kyle.
The way they're coming out the pipes, it's the way it looks, because they're not putting anything down on the racetrack. You know, if they were knocking bearings out and stuff like that, that'd be something different. But, you know, these cars, like they say, they've experimented with different things to get air under the hood. Maybe they've done some stuff to the cow. Maybe these things are leaning themselves out a little bit.
Kelly, Huffman, and Ricky Bryant racing here, 4th, 5th, and 6th.
We saw Ricky Bryant just a few laps ago racing back with Chris Hall. He's been able to dispense, and Danny Bagwell, he's been able to get by those cars and move up to the lead group.
These guys were running right there with Sockwell and with Doc Brewer whenever Sockwell's motor went, and it just makes you, that little bit of smoke, you know how it is, it makes you check up for just a second. And now they've dropped back about 10 or 15 car lengths behind the next guy.
And Bill Weber, who's with David Hutto.
This definitely wasn't your day, David.
No, it wasn't. When it rains, it pours, I guess. But the Armo grade in Pontiac run good today. I think they know we was there. We had to come from the rear. Qualified second, we had to come from the rear. Missed the driver's meeting due to some circumstances, but you know, we had a good run. Too bad we couldn't have just made it last.
You know what went wrong in the engine compartment?
I think we burned a piston or something. We had some engine problems early in the week. That I don't think it had anything to do with that, but come back and get them next time.
Okay, his day's over, and Sockwell's also pulled behind the wall, and they battle for the lead again.
Indeed, Mike Swaim Jr. is right there on the rear spoiler of Daryl Murray.
You don't need to be trying to block us.
And Christian Elder is also on the move. He's up to 8th position. Remember, he had to go to the end of the longest line because of a pit speed violation, and he is coming through. That is the 14 of Neuenberger that he's going around, and that's Danny Bagwell in the 10th, and that is the 7th place car of Bagwell, but not anymore.
Still there, still got a car high.
Now Bagwell
All clear.
wisely backs up a little bit, gets behind Christian Elder. Now they will try to draft their way towards the front. Let's go once again in the Tabasco hot zone, 160 going in turn 3. Now they'll slow down just a little bit as they hit the banking.
Just enough. It just bogs them down a little bit. Really good cars. As you notice here, he's turning 68, 50, 68, something like that RPMs. Down the straightaways in a good draft, it'll get back up to about 7,000 RPMs.
Those cars way ahead of him is who he hopes to draft up to. Elder last year came from 21st starting position to finish 2nd, so coming through the field is nothing new to him.
Once again, down to 156 miles per hour. This used to be called the backstretch. It's now called the super stretch.
There's the interval between Christian Elder and the 6th place car.
See, these guys ought to stay in line.
Now it's going to...
We see where this is based against the leader, Daryl Murray. He was 6.4 seconds behind in 5 laps. He closed 1 second. So Bagwell, they should be telling Danny Bagwell in his pits, you guys are gaining on the leader. Stay in line.
Patience.
These guys want to race, though, don't they?
They want to race. The only time I've seen them get in line all day was when they came down pit road. Other than that, they want to be 2 and 3 wide, and they constantly look out on each other all the time.
You got to get that draft in front of you now.
There is the lead as Mike Swaim Jr. continues to dog the 52 car of Daryl Murray. We'll see if Christian Elder can close the gap when we come back. Well, the best seat in the house today for the Discount Auto Parts 200 NASCAR Goodies Dash Race is the Bud One Airship, the aerial ambassador of the King of Beers. And they are also responsible for those great overhead shots that we're seeing. At 6 o'clock tomorrow evening on The Deuce, join us for Happy Hour, the final practice session before the 40th annual Daytona 500, the Great American Race. That's on The Deuce at 6 o'clock tomorrow evening. Kyle Petty and others will be out there for their final practice before the 500. We're under caution again. Dave Height's house car stalled down in turn number 4. He's going again. Let's meanwhile go back to the pit area. Here's Bill with last year's winner.
And Brian, you were trying for 2 in a row, but was not to be. What put you out?
We had a little motor trouble. Something let go in the backstretch. I don't know what happened. We might have messed something up when we come down the pit road, because after we made the pit stop, it didn't feel like it wanted to run as good, and we had to move to the upper groove, which freed the car up. And I had some help with Doc Brewer, and I just all of a sudden on the backstretch, she hand grenaded.
There's some great racing going on at the front, though, wasn't there?
I was having a ball. I mean, the car's been, this is the fastest it's been all week. We've worked on the car. The guys have really worked hard, the crew. And we really thought we had a good shot at the win today.
Tough break. We'll see you next time.
Thank you.
That's Brian Sockwell, last year's winner, out of this year's race.
So far, it's been a good race today.
Field over in turn number 3. We'll see if anyone elects to pitch. There are 17 cars currently on the lead lap. Riding along with Christian Elder, who's in 7th spot. Now we're with Chris Hall.
Right now, him being able to stay with him and hang on to that draft, he gets out on his own. I don't know what he do.
This is Donnie Apple, the Long John Silver's automobile, and he is currently in 22nd spot. He's a lap down. Are they going to pit? Yeah, some of them. Looks like there's no, we don't have a majority here. We got a minority, but some cars are coming in the pits.
Robert Huffman is going to come in. So is Donnie Neuenberger and Eddie Kelly in the 80 car, along with Pat Patterson. All those in, but those running up near the front elect to stay out there. We're back at Daytona for Goody's Dash Series Racing. The GTE Classic, presented by Cadillac, is on at 3 o'clock today on ESPN. There's a shot of David Graham. That's at 3 o'clock today.
Gibby Gilbert was here yesterday watching the qualifying races, said he was going back to participate in that tournament in Tampa. And look at this. All the cars are on, look like they're coming down pit road. What happened between last lap and this lap? Jerry, have any idea what happened between last lap and this lap?
Well, Benny, they're reporting some light rain showers down in turns 1 and 2. They realize there'll be some more caution laps. Most of these guys could only go 30 green flag laps, and Christian Elder is among that group. We are 32 laps away from the checkered flag, but because of the rain showers and the extra caution laps, they all opted to pit as Elder is down and away with fuel only. Let's check in farther up pit road.
Daryl Murray has been here for fuel only. They saw Robert Huffman come in on the last lap. Everybody thought it was going to go green this time. When the caution came back out, they did their math. Their fuel window just opened. They think. We'll have to wait and see. This could turn out to be a fuel mileage decision in the closing lap.
I love those statements. The window opened, they think.
Yeah. There is Daryl Murray, number 52, who was leading the race before the pit stops occurred.
Whoa!
How about that? We are under military aircraft here at Daytona. Listen at that thing.
That's some horsepower.
No kidding. He is up, and away from Daytona International Airport. Back at the Speedway in a moment. Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. Lake Lloyd there in the middle of the infield. That's where they got the dirt from to create the banks here at the Speedway. All right, let's take a look at our race recap now. The AutoZone race recap shows us at the moment after these pit stops, Robert Huffman is the leader. We have had 7 lead changes, 5 caution periods for 19 laps, and the average just a little over 106 miles an hour.
See Donnie Apple, never see the lap leaders. Daryl Murray has led the most at 23. Mike Swain, Hutto, Christian Elder, Brian Sockwell.
And there are one more. Robert Huffman, the current leader. Those that are off the track include David Heitzhaus, whose car stalled down in turn 4 just a little bit ago. Now here are the cars that are listed as out of the race, and some pretty big names on that list, let me tell you.
Sure is. And there's more. Charles Powell, Luckadoo, Gandy, Barfield, Gross. And guess what, folks? There's even more. Ellington, Frank, A.J. Frank, and Will Hobgood. Remember the 2 cars that flipped off turn 4?
Christian Elder, meanwhile, falls back to 11th. Doctor?
Well, David Watson is showing us what happened to Christian here. David, it looks like this thing is not exactly functioning to help you guys fuel.
That's right, Dr. Punch. The spring broke in it there, and it kind of hung us up a little bit and kept us in the pits a little longer than we thought it should, but I think we're going to be okay.
See, the spring is supposed to be pretty tight inside, and it broke, so it let it wobble. They had a hard time getting it full of fuel, so that was a problem with Christian Elder. By the way, David Watson, the guy we talked to a moment ago, he's sort of the Richard Childress of this series. He's a likable, self-made man who has cars everyone wants to drive. He's won 3 national titles, 4 times at Daytona, 11 times at Charlotte. His car, always a contender, and even though they have problems in the pits, don't expect to see Christian Elder out of it today.
From Watauga County, North Carolina, up in the northwestern corner, home of Appalachian State University.
Field once again aligned for the restart. Robert Huffman is at the front of the field in that yellow number 37.
He's running in the second spot.
One of the 6-cylinder cars. Ernie Yarborough is running in 4th position as Huffman gets a great jump. Pat Patterson in the black and orange car down to the inside. He's a lap down, trying to get back on the lead lap. Now we'll ride along with Christian Elder here for a few moments and see if he can pick up any positions.
There's Ricky Bryant, one of the fastest cars on the inside. He just blows by him.
4 lap cars down low.
We'll see Daryl Murray in 52, the guy that's led the most of the race, trying to work his way to the front. Derek Kelly, 06. Whoa!
That outside line is the best, isn't it? He picked up 2-3 positions there.
Yeah, Daryl Murray definitely chose the wrong line. Here's a battle for the lead. Keith Wilson. I'm sorry, Neuenberger's a lap down. I thought that was the car that was in second spot, but it was not.
So Neuenberger is trying to get back on the lead lap and being rather successful at that. Meanwhile, it's still Robert Huffman in the lead with now Swaim right behind him. On board with Christian Elder, who's moved up to 8th position.
He's got some company on the inside with Daryl Murray. Now which line is going to go? Looks like the outside line. And Kelly just squeezes in. Wow. That was in front of Ernie Yarborough. That is Ernie that we're following now in Christian Elder's car. The 22 is Ernie Yarborough.
Look at those cars dance. Oh. From the Bud 1 airship, that's Swaim now looking to the inside of Huffman. We may have a lead change here. Yes, we do. So Mike Swaim Jr. got some drafting help that propelled him up into the lead again.
Now this is exactly where he wants to be, in front, because it's, oh, here we are, 3 abreast. And Daryl Murray might make it 4. Shall we go for 4? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, no problem. 4 abreast.
Look at this. Wow.
Man, I don't care if these cars are smaller. 3 wide is still not the place you want to be here.
Oh. And Ernie Yarborough's caught right in the middle, and he is literally being pushed.
Look, back and forth.
Elder jumps behind Huffman, and they leave Ernie Yarborough. Danny Bagwell back on the back end of the Christian Elder car.
Now Ricky Bryant's going to dive to the inside. Junior Miller in the red and yellow car behind. Meanwhile, that's not a battle for second spot. Those cars are a lap down. That's the 14 of Nuremberger, and here's the 44. Doc Brewer moves into second spot.
How about that?
Doc Brewer was hooked up with his teammate a minute ago with Sockwell, and they came to second and third or third and fourth, but this time he's doing it on his own.
So now it's Swaim and Doc Brewer, and running in third position is Derek Kelly, then Murray, then Huffman.
The white car in second spot is Nuremberger. He is a lap down.
And doing a great job just hanging in here.
It's back in 18th position, as your rundown showed you.
I wonder if he realizes that car is moving around that much.
If he knew it was moving around, if he saw what we were seeing, I think he'd park. I know I would.
We have less than 25 laps to go.
Mike Swaim Jr. really wants to keep these cars behind, because we've seen once he gets behind, that under the hood temperature starts building and he loses power.
Yeah, his problems seem to be compounded the further back in the pack he gets. He needs that fresh air. He needs that clean air blowing as much and taking the hot air out from under the hood as much as possible.
The 24 car to the left of Christian Elder just saw was Mickey York, and he is not on the lead lap. He's a couple of laps, and one lap down in 19th. Look at the progression of Christian Elder since lap 38 when he was 10th, and he dropped back to 11th on lap 50. Got a big boost and is now up to 6th.
Now they're hung behind Nuremberger. Doc Brewer on the inside. Which line is going? That 52 car on the right of your screen, Darrell Merritt, is really a fast car. He has led the most laps. He had until a few laps ago when the 28 car of Mike Swaim Jr. took back over.
He's got to feel like the Lone Ranger to a large degree, because he's one of the few guys out there today in a Ford. Most of these cars are Pontiacs, and he's out there in a Ford, and he's been pretty much showing the way most of the day.
Look at that car of Brewers dancing all over the racetrack. Well, there are your top 5, 57 laps out of 80 completed in the Discount Auto Parts 200. Welcome back to Daytona. Swaim leads. Huffman is second. On the move, Christian Elder. We're riding along with him right now. That's Derek Kelly to the inside. The great battle for third. Here's the telemetry from Tabasco.
And a great battle for the lead as Robert Huffman is on the outside. Mike Swaim Jr. on the inside. Derek Kelly goes down to help Mike Swaim, and Swaim retakes the lead.
Kelly to second, then Murray. Here comes Doc Brewer on that line down low.
Christian Elder says, I chose a wrong horse that time.
He's back to 6th. Huffman 5th.
On the backstretch, things fall back to single file formation. With Elder now at the tail end of the field, opening up the inside lane.
Mike Swaim Jr. goes back to the lead. Here's Christian Elder down to the inside.
Let's see, as he gets a little help from the front and some help from the back, what kind of speed he can attain on the super stretch at Daytona. As I said, it used to be called the back stretch. They now call it the super stretch.
19 laps to go in the Discount Auto Parts 200.
Let's check and see if he can gain on these fellas. There's some help from those cars up front. He has a car behind him, Robert Huffman, 162. That's the most speed we've seen today. And he's only going down to 158, 159 in the corner. Once again, the super stretch. There's a headwind down this straightaway, so he probably will not be able to ever see 160. We saw 162 on the front. We'll only see 161 on the super stretch because of the headwind. What do you think, Kyle? Is he catching him?
He's beginning to reel him back in a little bit. He was a little bit further back, and these guys have lined up behind him. The front guys are not really, they're still dicing back and forth like they've been doing all day long, just peeking a little bit. And all it takes sometimes is somebody to peek out to make a little bit of air.
Last lap, he was 1.1 seconds behind. And now he's less than a half second behind.
He's feeling the effect of the draft here. He was feeling the effect of a draft probably 200 or 300 yards back. But as you see how quick he's gained just in this short period, the closer he gets, the more it sucks him up into it. And it's flat. It's just taking him right up onto the back of Doc Brewer at this point.
And once again, we see with this four-cylinder, the hood, the wind at 160 miles per hour is just pushing that hood down. He's caught Doc Brewer. Now that will help Doc Brewer get back up to the front. As these cars push air, Kyle, which explained to me, as they push air, as you get closer to the car, they just start building that air against that car until it actually just pushes that car forward that's in front of them.
Yeah, it begins to push the car in front as much as the air begins to flow over the cars and create that dead space of air behind them, which creates to suck the cars forward. You know, air is a black hole. It's a funny thing. I don't think any of us truly understand what these cars really do at 150 or 60 miles an hour. All we know as a driver is if there's somebody in front of you, you're going to run faster.
Just 3 laps ago, he was 1.1 seconds behind Doc Brewer. He has passed Doc Brewer, and Christian Elder now runs 4th.
That's Darrell Murray in front, the 3rd place car. Mike Swain Jr., the leader, 17 to go. Derek Kelly is in 2nd spot, and this is Christian Elder, a 4th place car. It's getting dark. We see cars are really picking it up now. 164 miles per hour. The 37 car Robert Huffman behind ran 164.9. Oh, we going into 3rd spot.
Wow, that was close.
Still there.
See, but this is one of those deals where he had just enough draft to suck up to the inside. And if Doc Brewer stays behind him, it's good. But if Doc Brewer doesn't go with him, then it hangs him out. And there he is. He's hung out. He loses a couple of positions. It's so critical, and that's something you learn, like we talked in the beginning. When to make a move, when to not. Sometimes just because you're coming up on a car doesn't necessarily mean you need to pull out on him at that point in time.
Still high. All clear, all clear. Get in line, get in line.
Oh, bound for 2nd spot. Here's Darrell Murray on the outside of Derek Kelly. Doc Brewer's going to help him. He's going into 2nd spot.
So it's still Swain, but now Darrell Murray moves into 2nd position. Kelly is 3rd, Brewer 4th, and Christian Elder is 5th.
All clear, all clear.
Welcome back to Daytona International Speedway. 67 of 80 laps completed in the Discount Auto Parts 200. Mike Swain Jr. is the leader right now, the pole sitter of this race. We told you his father was a 4-time dash champion, and Mike Swain Jr. won his 3rd straight pole for this event. He was the 1997 champion of this series. 5 poles and 4 straight wins en route to that championship in 1997. Christian Elder is running in 4th position, and for the most part now, these 4 cars look like are going to duel it out. Doc Brewer has lost the draft along with Huffman.
Yeah, right now, Doc Brewer is, well, he's about 3 seconds behind the leaders and doesn't seem to be gaining. There we see the black car. That's Doc Brewer. Robert Huffman behind him.
At the same time, they're breaking away from him. The pack behind him, Huffman and Bryant, doesn't really seem to be catching Doc Brewer that good.
But this is a great battle. And right now, Mike Swaim Jr. is where he needs to be in front. If these guys could just somehow team up and get in front of him, it would probably hurt his chances of winning the races. Let's once again go in this Tabasco hot zone as we come down the front stretch at Daytona. Tailwind, a lot of fast cars in front. 162.
7 laps to go. 7 laps to go.
7 laps to go. 163. 11 laps to go. Somebody can't count.
Car down low in the middle of 1 and 2.
We see 164 miles per hour that time as Christian Elder trying his best to hang on.
These guys, to get around Mike Swaim Jr., they're going to have to, all three of them, work together. The guy running second is going to have to make a move. And the third and fourth place car is going to have to commit and go and say, okay, we may not win the race, but we're going to commit and we're going to beat Mike Swaim. And that's what it's going to boil down to towards the end.
And we see those dark clouds. It's imminent rain is going to fall on this speedway.
Hopefully, though, not before the next 10 laps are concluded, because this could be good. Now Elder begins to drop back a little bit.
Yes, he did. That time he lost a mile per hour to the group. He might have to squeeze out of the gas. Can he catch back up? These three cars might run off and leave him, Kyle.
Yeah, they could shake him. And if they shake him, then the whole complexion changes again. Then you've got two Fords running second and third against Mike Swaim and the Pontiac.
There's Mike Swaim's girlfriend, who is so nervous she can't hardly watch. Mike Swaim Sr., his father, the 4-time dash champion, is the spotter. That's the voice that you hear occasionally. Cup Series. 9 laps to go for Mike Swaim.
I don't think they're going to break away from Christian Elder right here. I think he's caught back up to him a little bit. That passing that 1 lap car just enough. It's just enough to help him a little bit. If he wants to run side by side here, they'll break away from him. But that's what he's looking for. He needs to stay in line for the next few laps.
Swaim Jr. hopes to run some ARCA races this year, in addition to some selected Goody's Dash Series races. He finished 5th in this event last year, looking for his 10th career win in the Dash Series. Years ago, when Mike Swaim Jr. won the pole for this race, he was the youngest pole winner ever at Daytona International Speedway.
You're right, Kyle. It's too bad those guys don't have radio communication somehow to get, okay, I'm going to turn left now, let's go. But unfortunately, they don't have to do that. Hand signals is the only way to communicate.
Hand signals are the only way. And, you know, for Mike Swaim Jr., he's glad they don't have radio communication with each other, because he doesn't want 3 against 1. Said he's been down here 2 or 3 times or whatever, and we've talked about his heating problem with his car and stuff. He's done exactly what a veteran and experienced driver should do. He put that car in position to get the most out of it all day long, which was out front. He knew he had to lead and run in clean air to keep his motor cool and to keep the underhood temperature cool, and that's where he's put his car all day.
Boy, look at the old fingers are crossed, aren't they? We've got 2 4-cylinders and 2 6-cylinders here in the top 4. Swaim is in a 6, and so is Kelly.
Christian Elder got a good run that time. He and Kelly need to get nose to tail, see if they can't run down this third place car. Once again, right along with Christian Elder. Complete another lap. 6 to go.
6 to go, and looking at the racetrack, unless something really big happens, I don't think traffic's going to be a factor in the last 4 or 5 laps, because the last place car, or the slowest car on the racetrack, is way,
guys, we did all we could do on the fuel because we waited a lap longer than a bunch of them did to get fuel. So we've done a good job. The car's driven good. So whatever happens in the next 5 laps, you know, let's just keep our tempers calm and don't say nothing we shouldn't say on the radio. So we're with Pins on, and we've done a good job today.
That's Mike Swaim Jr. talking to his crew, talking to his son, and say, if the thing runs out of gas, so be it. We did all we could do to try to win the race.
They rolled the dice. He's using more fuel a little bit more because he's pulling the train right now. But like I said before, he had to put himself in that position.
You don't let that sucker by, okay?
Is that Murray signaling to the guy behind him?
I thought it was, but I'm not sure. I think it just might be something flapping in the car.
Trying his best to break the draft, going low, going high. Darrell Murray now trying to get a run. See, Kelly didn't go with him. If Kelly had moved up with him, they might have been able to go by on the outside, Kyle.
They've got to team up if they're going to get around him. If they don't team up, or if they're going to just look after themselves, then they're going to finish exactly where they're at right here.
Murray again takes a look to the outside and to the inside, and a big crash in the backstretch. Big crash in the backstretch. Ernie Yarborough, I believe.
Don't let them buy you.
And look at all the debris back there that these leaders are going to have to run through, and the caution flag is out.
For debris. Watch for debris.
And
Mike,
we could end under caution. There is Ernie Yarborough's.
You've got to conserve your fuel. Get that thing in neutral and let it coast. Don't let it stop either. Don't let the motor stop, but let that thing coast.
And I have a feeling we're going to end this race under caution.
No way. I don't think they'll clean that stuff up. So you just got to keep it running. Have to drive down on the apron. You have to do that, Mikey.
Got to drive on the apron, because if you get on the
do not pit.
On the 31-degree banks, the gasoline is going to get away from the pickup.
It goes away from the pickup. The pickup's in the right rear, because that's where you're slinging. That's where you're slinging the fuel to in the corner.
Down to the left side. Get down on the apron, Mike. Go to the apron every time through here. After this lap, get down to the apron. In third gear or high gear, just barely let that thing pull.
I think they're concerned about fuel, don't you, Kyle?
I think they're very concerned about fuel right now.
Keep that thing in neutral, just goes pretty slow, bud.
You know, they're wanting him to run slow, but at the same time, he should have been hustling back around here to get these laps out of the way right quick. You know what I mean? Because he wants to get them out of the way also.
Bill Weber.
Bob, they need half a gallon of fuel.
Really?
Wow.
Wow. Look at this.
Half a gallon is what they're asking for. They asked me if I had any with me. Said it's in my rental car. I don't think it's going to help you.
Sling it back and forth a little bit as you're going down through there, so it'll pick up on that right side.
So the pickup is in the...
You don't touch the accelerator more than you have to, or it pumps it in, okay? On the bottom, go down the apron.
There's the apron, because the pickup we heard, the pickup is in the right rear corner of the car. If you get on the bank, the gasoline gets away from the pickup.
Well, he only has 2.5 laps to go. But he may not have enough fuel for that under caution.
Back out on the track now. Move back up there in front of Darrell.
Doesn't appear like the 52 doesn't seem to be concerned about his fuel.
Well, they don't. You know, the only one, they're not, everybody else is up on the racetrack. Mike Swaim Jr. seems to be the only guy who's really concerned about what's going on with him.
Shortly after practice opened earlier this week, this is what happened to Mike Swaim Jr. as he came out of corner number 2. This is the way his week started.
He lost a left front wheel bearing, spun coming off the corner, and almost destroyed that car right there.
You know, it's amazing that not a single body panel touched that car, touched the ground as that car was coming around. They said the ball joints and the lower control arms and everything were twisted and bent, but the body itself, and that's what's so critical down here at Daytona as far as running fast, but not a scratch on it.
Down to Bill Weber. What's the latest, Bill?
Let's find out. Ronald, you had a spectacular beginning to the week. How's it going to end? Can you reach the finish?
Well, we don't really know. It's going to come up short, but we can't afford to stop. We got to go for broke. Pennzoil's on board, and if we run out of gas, it's for Pennzoil.
Will these caution laps help you?
Yeah, oh yeah. They just red flagged it.
Stop the race, rain. Oh, you guys heard it. Good luck, Ronald. They're stopping the race for rain.
Wow. With 2 laps to go. And on a green flag situation, when they restart the race, the caution laps do not count.
Right.
So if they stop the race, when they go throw the green flag, there will be 2 laps remaining. There we see Ernie Yarborough walking towards the ambulance.
Boy, that's good news, because that looked to be a very serious crash over there in the backstretch. But Ernie has climbed out of his car and is walking to the ambulance. And so the pace car stops near the entrance of pit road. Well, with the thing low on fuel, will we be able to get it restarted?
Well, I think so. I mean, it was running when he stopped. I would think he should be able to restart. But how many laps are they going to run when they continue again?
Yeah, the point is, how many laps are they going to run, and how long are they going to sit there after they crank them up again?
Oh, there's the crash car of Ernie Yarborough that has brought out this caution, which is now turned into a red. And here's what happened there.
He gets a bump from the 92 car and goes right in the wall, knocks the right front tire off. Mickey York spins down the backstretch, and we see the right front tire from Ernie Yarborough's car just beating all the cars down the backstretch.
But Ernie Yarborough climbed from the car and is in good shape. So we are under red here at Daytona because of the crash cleanup and rain that's beginning to fall here at Daytona. Mike Swaim right now is the leader. ESPN Speed World has all the action from Daytona, and our Discount Auto Parts 200 being brought to you by Quaker State, the choice of winners. We're celebrating in 1998 the 50th anniversary of NASCAR, and in conjunction with that, tonight the final installment of our series of 5 programs called The 50. It's at 7:30 tonight on ESPN. Chasing the heritage that has resulted in NASCAR being where it is today. As you can see, the cars are rolling. When they come around next time, they'll be given the green flag and we'll be racing, and it'll be the green and white, won't it?
Yes, exactly. They'll be given 2 flags, the green and the white, signifying the last lap, because this caution lap does count, in fact. At Tucson, when they had a red flag after the halfway break, the caution laps did not count, but they are counting here.
We have a new car owner in NASCAR. Doctor, who is it?
How about this guy, the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith, 13 consecutive Golden Gloves with the St. Louis Cardinals. Ozzie, your first time, I'm told, ever at a NASCAR, ever at a live race. What are your impressions?
Well, I'm very impressed. I was always puzzled as to what the fascination was with 180, 190,000 people sitting watching guys go around a circle. But, you know, to be here and to see it firsthand as I'm doing, it's a fascinating sport and some very loyal fans.
I'm told you're going to be a truck owner this year and maybe run 5 Winston Cup races. What are the plans down the road?
Well, you know, I'm taking it one day at a time. I know that this is not something that happens automatically. You don't just jump into something like this. But what I'm being able to see here firsthand is that you have some guys that have been around this business a long time and have a lot of experience. And I want to learn as much as I possibly can before I try and jump on the big circuit.
Hey, good luck to you, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Ozzie Smith, we're told that he'll have Toby Porter in the truck, and he'll run 5 Winston Cup races. Next year, his Winston Cup driver is someone that everybody knows, Bill Weber.
And I'm here at Mike Swaim Jr.'s pit, and this is Caroline Parks. How do you feel? We've been watching you. Are you a little nervous?
Very nervous. Yes, sir.
Can you just tell the fans how you feel or what you're going through?
Just praying. Just praying we've got enough fuel to make it.
Now, you know that's a question mark.
Exactly.
How tough is this for you?
It's very tough. It's hard.
Exciting?
Exciting. Exciting if we win.
Okay, you think you can make it?
I'm praying.
Okay, good luck.
Thank you.
She's wearing out shoes back here too, guys.
A lady of few words, but we're going to know here in one more lap who wins this race.
I saw George Crenshaw coming to pits a moment ago being pushed by the wrecker. Looks like he was out of gas. There's another car on the apron of the racetrack.
You ready? Good start now. Keep it ready. It's got to be good. Ready. Green down. Green down. Go.
That helps right there.
4 wide at the line.
Mike Swaim Jr. has beat him all day long on restarts, and with that mix-up right there on that restart,
look at this.
That helps him jump out front.
Bumping and banging, and Christian Elder gets hit in the side and has to really get off the throttle and loses many positions. That's Danny Bagwell in the 10, who's coming up to third to challenge Derek Kelly.
Just keep digging.
And Doc Brewer
in the... Keep an eye on your mirror. Keep an eye on your mirror down here, 3 and 4.
Meanwhile, Mike Swaim has a fairly decent lead.
Yes, if he doesn't run out of fuel, looks like he's going to be okay. Meanwhile, with their 3 abreast for third, and Brewer on the outside. Wow.
Brewer, Kelly, and Bagwell, 3 wide for third in turn 4. Oh, look at them.
This is great. Great racing. They all hold their line.
Here they come, and now it's going to be 4 wide. It looks like Mike Swaim is going to win the Discount Auto Parts 200. Huffman is second.
Doc Brewer third.
And Ricky Bryant is able to come by. Looks like he's going to take over the 4th spot.
That was a whole gaggle for 4th, 5th, and 6th.
It sure was.
This is the reward right here. Don't get no better than this. Don't get no bigger than this. Could have done it without you, though. I said that after qualifying, after y'all got this car fixed after a little airborne deal, and I mean it. Y'all did a good job.
What a race. It's his 10th career Goody's Dash Series win for Mike Swaim Jr. He becomes the 13th different Daytona winner.
Wow.
It's amazing. All the winter testing, all the work, everything that goes into it comes down to a fuel mileage issue and 1 lap, 2.5 miles. And
well, there was no contest up front for first or second, but there sure was for third on back.
This is the battle for third spot. In the middle, the 06, Derek Kelly. Danny Bagwell on the right in the 10 car, and Doc Brewer in 44. Now look at Ricky Bryant in the 5 car come up. He gets a hold on the outside. He doesn't go on the outside. He just follows Doc Brewer, gets the draft, and Brewer will finish third. He's able to get by both those cars and finish, wow, 4th. Yeah, we're not to the line yet, are we?
Right. Brewer was third.
And we see Darrell Murray come by. He beat, oh, I don't know about that.
Oh, wow.
That was your gaggle right there.
Now that is close.
A photo finish. But there is the winner, Mike Swaim Jr. Coming up next here on ESPN Shop Talk, right after we conclude our coverage of this event. And boy, we got to hear from the winner, Mike Swaim Jr., as to what his thoughts were.
Checking the rear spoiler to make sure the angle has maintained its correct angle. There's the unofficial results. You see where they started. Danny Bagwell started 25th up to 5th. Christian Elder was running 4th, fell back to 10th on that last lap.
John Redmond, the last car on the lead lap. Everybody else was a lap down. Pat Patterson finished 12th, and Donnie Neuenberger, who got a lap down early, was never able to get it back, but he finished up in the top 15.
Ernie Yarbrough, despite knocking off the right front wheel, will finish 21st. First.
Not a good day for the Hobgoods. Jake there in 27th position. Brian Sockwell, last year's winner, 29th, and David Hutto finished in 30th position.
And Will Hobgood back in 41st spot as the Pennzoil Pontiac is being pushed to victory lane.
The new and refurbished and more beautiful victory lane.
Got to get all of our props in the right place. All of our Gatorade bottles. They're big Goody's headache powder.
Thank you.
Well, he's had quite a week from his pirouette off turn 2 to victory lane. Bill Weber.
And Mike Swaim Jr. sits in his car here in victory lane. Congratulations, Mike. You had to fight for this one, didn't you?
I tell you what, Bill, all this thanks goes to this Pennzoil Pontiac crew. After our little melee on Monday, I didn't know what we would be doing the rest of the week, but thank God for a good, safe race, and thank God we're even here after Monday. But got to thank Pennzoil and Iskey Racing Cams for all their help they give us. Pennzoil's really taking a big financial burden off of us this year, and got to thank all my crew, my dad, my engine builder, Jan Smith. Everybody did a great job, and thanks to everybody that helped me get here.
How much fuel is left?
It was still running when I pulled in here, so your guess is as good as mine.
Caroline was a little nervous, Mike, watching those last laps.
But she wasn't the only one. My hands were shaking on the steering wheel, but just got to thank God it came true.
Victory lane at Daytona, your 10th career. Congratulations.
Thank you, Bill.
Mike Swayman, victory lane with his Pennzoil Pontiac here in the Goodies Dash Series.
What a race that we have seen here today, and there's more to come from Daytona International Speedway tonight at 8:30 Eastern Time before they go green, looking at the Daytona 500-mile race. And tomorrow we will be here with happy hour at 6 o'clock Eastern Time over on the Deuce. NASCAR Today is Sunday at 11:30 in the morning. Benny and I will have the winning car induction ceremony over at Daytona, USA at 6:30 Monday evening here on the Deuce. Well, coming up next here on ESPN, it's Shop Talk. Stay with us for that. Congratulations to Mike Swaim Jr., the winner here at Daytona. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.